Welcome to the first look. I'm your host Guns, and today we're going to take a look at Moonlighter. This is an indie game that came out very recently, and it's been getting a little bit of buzz, a little bit of hype around it. I was kind of not interested, then I heard a few details about it, and then I was kind of interested, and then I played it, and then I was very interested. Normally when I play these games, for a first look, I play 1 to 2 hours of the game, just to get a general idea of it. Now, obviously, if I like the game, I play more. If I don't care so much, I play less. I played Moonlighter for 9 hours, and I forgot I was recording the entire time, and so I had to go back and get a different save file to record the beginning of the game, just that, because a 9-hour file was going to be too much to mess around with and try to import that and edit it out. It's a good game. We'll start in the options menu. It's a 2D pixel art game, so, you know, graphic options, not a ton there. Screen shake, you can only take down to 10%. I wish you could turn screen shake off, because I hate screen shake. It's so annoying. Why would you want to shake the screen that I'm looking at? I don't understand that. That interrupts my visual process. It's a really cheap and shitty effect in my opinion. But the graphical options menu is pretty bare bone. But again, it's a pixel art game. You're not gonna get a lot with it. So it's kind of fair for it to not have a ton. It does have a pretty large smorgasbord of resolutions. Sound. This game's really loud. This game is really loud. Even with everything turned down to just one little notch, it's still really loud, and I had to turn it down in the mixer quite a little bit, and then I had to turn it down again when I was recording, just because of how loud it is. So I'm not sure what's going on there with the bass volume, like the lowest possible volume still being pretty loud, but nonetheless, there are sliders there you can turn up and down, and there are obviously other things that you can do to help bring the sound down outside, like, you know, your sound options systems tray, although that shouldn't be something you have to resort to. So we're done talking about the options, let's talk about the game. Pretty simple concept. There is somewhat of a story there. It has to do with these 5 dungeons in Ranok, I think is the name of the town if I remember correctly. There are 5 doors, each one is a dungeon to a different area. At the end of a dungeon you get a key. You need 4 keys to unlock the 5th door, and what's behind the 5th door is a bit of a mystery and supposedly wraps it all up. And each of the 5 areas, I should say, are completely different from one another, although I haven't actually made it past the 2nd area yet, because it is a pretty hard game. If you're wondering what this game plays like, it plays very much like a old Legend of Zelda, Link to the Past. Plays like that, in a sense, where you shield, guard, items. Your combat's a little limited, although, like I said, I don't know if it gets more advanced as we go further in the game. You do get various different items and various different weapons that can do different things and have different effects. There's 5 different weapon categories, I believe. Sword and board, great sword, bow and arrows, spear, I believe, and I forget what the other one was. So there's some variance there, which is nice for the combat itself. But what made this game so entertaining and kept me continuously playing is the continued self-improvement in the game. So you dive into these dungeons to get the key to unlock the 5th door to get to whatever that is, right? But the fun part of this game is that stuff you bring out of the dungeon, you sell to people. You sell to people in your shop called Moonlighter. Now, it's all explained in the backstory, which I'll leave that for those of you that actually like to play it, because it's a little bit of an interesting backstory as to why they actually sell stuff out of their shops, and what Will, the character you play, his name is Will, why Will owns this shop, and what happened, what's going on there. But this is what kept me playing, the ability to get all kinds of things. You go hunting for loot inside these dungeons, and you come out and you're, ooh, what's that? Ooh, what's that? And so you, especially when you see new things, you have no idea what their worth is, so you're trying to guess, like, does this look more worth it? Will this sell for a higher price or this? And stuff you think wouldn't sell for anything sells for a ton, like ancient pots. I was thinking, oh well, an ancient pot, 25 gold. I'll sell it to 25 gold, see what the price is. and it ended up being worth like 150 something gold or 100 gold or whatever. And I had like 5 or 6 of them, and I was like, yeah, sell all those. At the same time, the materials you pull out of the dungeon are used to craft better weapons, better armor, better potions with different side effects, and different enchantments for your gear. So it's twofold. The gear you pull out, or the items that you pull out of the dungeon, make you money so that you can invest into your shop to sell to make more money. But they also make you money in the sense that you can use the money to buy the blacksmith, who will make you weapons and armor. You can use your money to buy the potions maker, who will make you enchantments and potions. And it goes on and on and on. There's like 5 or 6 slots per person, and each person does a unique thing, makes a unique thing with stuff you bring out of the dungeon. And then you can also increase the storage capacity, which allows you to store more stuff you bring out of the dungeon. And so it's a continually feeding, like the system itself, and it's such a well put together system. Whatever devs thought of this when they were putting it together, is such a well put together system, because it all continuously feeds off itself. Everything you do in the dungeon translates to everything you do outside the dungeon, and everything you do outside the dungeon translates to better performance inside the dungeon. So it's this continual self-feeding loop, and you feel even the littlest bit of progress. You feel it, and there's a lot of progress to be had, but you feel it. Like, oh, I have 10 potions this time because I came out with enough crafting mats, so I can go several layers deeper into this dungeon that I'm used to. It's a very, very fun game. Each dungeon has, I think, 3 layers and then a boss fight. There's a little bit of daytime management here, so you can only sell your items during the day, I believe. And you can go to the dungeons during day or night, but you do have to sleep. And sleeping also gives you added stat bonuses and benefits as you go. However, you can sleep during the day, go to the dungeon during the night, then come back and sell all your stuff from the dungeon you got that night through the day, then sleep that night. I mean, there's a bunch of different ways you can mix and manage it. The dungeons are harder at night, but you get better stuff out of them. And they are, I wouldn't say like significantly harder, like, oh, such a notable differences, but they're heavier mobs. You'll probably take a little bit more damage, but you do get better items out of them, or tend to get better items out of them, which is the big thing here. All in all, this game was shockingly good. Like, I thought, you know, oh, another 2D pixel art game, we have 50 million of those, right? But this game and both Wizard of Legends are 2 recent indie hits that are just fantastic in my opinion. I mean, the value of this game, the amount of hours you're going to put into this game are just insane. It's $20, Moonlighter, on Steam currently. I think it's well worth $20. Like I said, I sat down and played it for several hours before realizing what I was even doing. The dungeons continue to scale in difficulty and really test you, and it's a continual feedback loop system of improving your shop and yourself, and everything that goes with it. It's really nice. I really enjoy this game. Probably going to see this a lot on stream here in the near future, but that's going to do it for me. What do you guys think about Moonlighter if you've already played it? And would you recommend it to other people? For me, yes, it's an absolute recommend. For $20, I think it's a great price point for this game, and I think you're going to get a lot of value out of that $20 for this game. This and Wizard of Legends, 2 indie hits in a row that I think very different gameplay styles, but both very, very good, very worth your money and your time to put into. I'm Guns. This has been the first look at Moonlighter. GG.